Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. Coming up, we're going to talk about, do you need all those knives and why? I want to find out. We also have some cool new knives. Got one from Station 9. I got one from Work Tough Gear. You may have seen the shorts. You may have seen the videos. But we're going to do all that. And another random giveaway tonight. I'm going to give away this Shieldin Bulbasaur. The Bulbasaur. It looks a lot like a barong to me. And a barong's one of my favorite knives. So why am I giving this away? I'm not sure. But this is going to one of you lucky guys tonight. I am not doing the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway tonight, which is technically, or just is, the third Thursday in the month. Usually that's when the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway happens. But I just so happened to get something so cool by a maker today that we're going to be giving that away instead next week. I just wanted to have a chance to show it off. It's a knife I've shown off recently, but I was sent another one by the very, very generous guy. So we're going to give that away next week. I want to have a chance to show it to you on this evening. So to make up for that, a general giveaway open to all, and that is the Shieldin Bulbasaur with a cool carry pouch and also a knife roll from Wee Civivi. Marco, good evening, man. Good to have you here. Didn't mean to ignore you. Just wanted to finish my sentence. It's great to have you here with us as always. So are you going to put #knife in the comments tonight? I hope so. I want a chance to give this away to whomever wants it. Have a Knife Day. Nice to have you here, sir. I have something I'm going to show off that Have a Knife Day sent me. But I'm going to wait till a couple more people are here. Good evening, Junkalos, he says. Yes, a man needs a manly hobby, and knives are a very manly pursuit. Speaking of which, I got a text from Have a Knife Day the other day. I hope you don't mind my saying. And he was doing something manly. He was hanging out with a new Stetson cowboy hat, and he had a stag-handled Randall on his hip, and I thought that was cool. OG Blade Reviews, nice to have you here, sir. Evening, Master Junkie and all knife nuts. Good to have Dave here with us. Knife that he recently got, I recently got, and oh God, it's cool. You know which one I'm probably talking about, Dave, don't you? Dave gets a lot of new knives, and but this one very special. Wes B, nice to have you here, Wes. Always a pleasure. Oh, who is that? Who is that supervillain in your avatar? Doug Bowl, nice to have you here, Doug. Hi, Bob, Jim, and all you lovers of the blade. Doug, there's going to be a cool Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway next week. I think you might like it. Icomania. Nice to have you here, Icmo, lurking about. Icmomania is the love of knives. Very cool name there. Formerly Krav Magalak. How would you say that? Krav Magalak. So a very cool avatar there too. It's like an old school tattoo, but with the knuckles and the straight razor. And presumably he does Krav Maga, so stay out of his way, man, unless you're there to do good things. James Hart, nice to have you with us here, James. Good evening, all. Everyone sharp and free of rust, hopefully. And if you're not rust-free, hopefully you've got a patina. Why do I do that? Greg Vanderlip, nice to have you here, Greg. Space Ghost, that's who it is. Thank you. I know I recognize that from back when. No, sir. Don't need them all, but I'm here. They're here for emotional, but I'm here for emotional support. Yeah, no kidding. And that's what it is. I mean, why not just gather around you the things that you like? And of course, the things that you love should be people, but the things that you like a lot. I try to catch myself when I love that knife. Oh, you want to marry it? That's what we used to say when I was a kid. You love it? Why don't you marry it? Anyway, I'm strongly compelled by these things. I respect and admire them, which if you ask certain filmmakers, that equals love. James Hart, nice to have you here. I already said that. Do I need them? No, but I want them. Yes. Do I use them? Some of them I do. Yeah, me too. Like this one I have on the under the knife cam. This is one I use and I've been using a lot recently. Ground Fog. Good to have you here, sir. This is great for batoning, and it's just a great overall knife. The SP10 from Ontario. Have they gone away completely? Can you still get these? I'm not sure. James says, just did a count today. Oh, don't do the count. Don't do the math. That's my rule. Just did a count today. All my knives, sheath and folding. I have 68 knives, 9 swords, and 17 different types of axes. Oh, I like that. A spear and 1 pole axe. Just one? I had a pole axe from Cold Steel, and I actually ended up hanging it on a piece of Osage orange, and I gave it to a friend, someone who could really wield it. He's a big, strong dude. Sword XXXY, good to have you here, sir. Good day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. I don't need them. I want and enjoy them. Good. I'm glad. I mean, do I need them? I need like that. But do I really? I mean, don't I need more than that? It's the emotional support part. Joseph S. says, good evening, fellow knife junkies. Joseph, it's a pleasure having you with us. Are you a knife thrower by chance, Joseph? Just curious. Knives are life. Howdy, sir. Howdy to you, sir. Knives indeed are. My wife got me a shirt. I've worn it here before. It's the echocardiogram, and it's knives. And I always thought that was cool. Byron, Split and Slices. Nice to have you here, sir. Howdy, Bob, Jim, Junkies, Marco, Mr. Rexu, Z James H, Ground Fog, OGBR, Joseph S. Knives are life, Doug B, and all here. Byron, thank you for doing that for me, sir. Ooh, something in my eye. I swear I'm not crying. Spurs fan since 87. Sweet looking knife. Well, it's good to have you here, Spurs fan. Thank you. Yeah, I love this thing. This is here. I'm going to keep it under here. It's got a really nice craton handle. However, I have it gripped with baseball tape. You know, you put on a bat. It's a little extra grippy for me, and I like that. I mean, what I'm saying is the regular craton handle is just a little too grippy for my taste. So I have that to make it a little easier to go. I do recommend you take Have a Knife Day's advice. He says, hit the like button. Indeed, that is a good choice. 5-Door, good to have you here, 5-Door. Greetings, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. This thing, I was thinking about putting it in the car for car duty Bowie. You know, I always have a Bowie down by the seat next to the console. But the one that I keep in there is that big Schrade. I can't remember the name of it now. The Schrade, it's like got a weird man's name, not a weird, an unusual man's name like Elmer or something. But so that's what I want to keep in there. This one I would not want to get stolen. Not that I want any knife stolen, but this one I would truly miss. So Jay Demeter, nice to have you here, Jay. Hola, Bob and guest. Let's see, make sure I didn't knock this out of through here, but Jay is out there in Hawaii. You can tell by the way he says aloha. And if you ever send him anything, you also know that. So I just imagine you're surfing, just came in from surfing. You're going to have some lunch, guava or mango, and you're going to go back out. Paul Mills, nice to have you here, Paul. Hello, Bob DeMarco. Hello, Paul. Whereas here, we are freezing our ass off. It is cold here, just cold. Craig Vincent, nice to have you here, Craig. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkadoos. Well, Junkadoos, Junkalos, all sorts here. I hear you're having a Randall knife giveaway. Oh, sorry. I mean, random knife giveaway. Yeah, Randall. Woof. No, but I do have a Randall out. May as well show it. This is as good a time as any. AJ, nice to have you here, AJ. Evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. Yes, indeed. It is the start of the weekend, AJ. Thursday Night Knives. You know, amateurs start on Friday. That's the bridge and tunnel start to the weekend. But truly, the start of the weekend is Thursday. Dr. Drew Dude, nice to have you here. Hashtag knife. I think you have to put the actual pound sign in there for the random number generator to recognize it. So he says, hello, everyone. So Dr. Drew Dude, definitely put in hashtag knife with a hashtag symbol so that you make sure that you're in the running for this awesome knife. This is the Bulbasaur, looking very much like a barong. Nick Martino, looking very much like a Bills fan. Great to have you here, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nick, my neighbor who lives across the street, great guy, awesome family. He's from Baltimore, sorry. He's from Buffalo and is very, very excited. I don't know if he's still excited because I don't follow football, but on Sunday, he came over for a little while and then he was off to a Buffalo bar in the area to watch the game. Benedict Odie, nice to have you here, sir. Hello, everyone, he says. Hello to you, sir. Archer, good evening, all. I don't believe you, Archer. I mean, that Archer's your name, but I was being sarcastic because you have all of that cool archery gear in your avatar. Average mountain biker, good to have you here. Average guitar player, too. Looks like, what is that, a Jackson Charvel? I'm trying to tell from that upside down sickle headstock. I can't read it from here. Don't ask me. Good to have you here, don't ask me. It's past my bedtime, he says. Well, before you go to bed, don't ask me. Make sure you put in #knife in the comments so you can win this Shield and Knife Bulbasaur with carrying case. And also this Wee knife roll. I'm going to give this away. Unused, but sent to me by Wee Savivi Sencut a little while ago. So I want to pass that along. Autumn Wind, nice to have you here, sir. Hello, all, he says. Well, hello to you. Under the pull. I do that every time. Over, under, pull. Nice to have you here. Over, under, pull. Over, under, pull. Now that I've said it 3 times, I will never mess it up. Great talk, Bob, and enjoy the channel. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words. It's great to have you here. I love the more the merrier adding to this important conversation about knives. Timothy Chadwick, nice to have you here, Timothy. Good evening, Bob Jim et al. Well, thank you, Timothy. Et al. I like that. Is it et al. Or et al.? I used to know a guy who had a theater company, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was something et al. And I was like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? I think it means and everyone. Ron Crow, nice to have you here, Ron. Crows are cool. Just recently heard a raven in my neighborhood, and ravens don't frequent here too often. But Ron Crow, always a pleasure. Don't ask me. If I had known I could marry a knife 27 years ago, don't say that. Don't say that. Knives can't do the things that wives can do, but there probably is a reason why they rhyme. War Room EDC, nice to have you here, War Room. I like good tools. I too like good tools, and not just knives, good tools in general, but good tool, but knives are the best of tools, I would say. Over Under Pull says, yes, I need them all. Yes, I want them all. Yes, I use them all. Yes, yes, yes. I like that. Yes, yes, yes. So Dave brought up Randall's. Here's an awesome Randall. I love this one. This is the 16 Special Fighter using the one blade. Hero Sticks, nice to have you here, Hero. Happy Thursday night, knives, he says. 16 is this handle style, and usually it has a drop point with a saw, right? Like a diver's knife almost. But this is the Special Fighter, so it's got the number 1 blade. And like almost every single model of Randall, the swedge is sharpened. I just love that. Give me a sharp swedge every time. Mark Stallman says, hey, junkies, best wishes to all. Mark, it's nice to have you here with us, sir. An old and familiar name. I'm going to just put that down in sort of a little still life. Craig Vincent says, knife and wife sound an awful lot alike. I can't be the only one that gets confused about which one I love more. I am not confused. However, I like knowing that my wife can also use a knife. That's how we met in Kali class, learning how to knife fight. And that I got to say, it's a good quality in a woman. Kilkenny, nice to have you here, Kilkenny. Boom time for some TNK. Hey, y'all. Well, what's up with you, man? That's a wave. Hey, y'all. King of Knives. Nice to have you here, King. I keep the SP10 in my vehicle just in case. Ooh. Now I think I should. Yeah, I mean, that's why I keep the, where is it? Where did I put it? The other one, the Schrade. Because I did have my car broken into once, and they took everything except I had the best pair of leather gloves called the Assassin from this cycling company. They were so perfect, and they took one. They took one, but they took a Recon one, which I left in the car, and man, that stung. So now I keep knives that I don't mind losing as much in the car, and I would hate to lose an SP10. Brown Sugar 0069, nice to have you here. Hello at the Knife Junkie. Well, hello to you. It's a pleasure having you with us. Average Mountain Biker says, lost my Kershaw Link while camping in New Hampshire a few years ago. That sucks. I love the Link. That's a cool one. Actually, that was probably one of my last assisted opens that I like willingly got that I loved. And now I don't know where it is. I must have given it away because I don't lose too many knives. However, I did lose this one, but I found it back while pulling out clothes to donate. Donald Fry, good to have you here, Donald. Howdy, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Looking forward to not accepting a dull 2025. Do not accept a dull 2025. I don't think it's going to be dull. I don't think it's going to be dull. I think I'm actually optimistic, but there's reason to believe every year that this is going to be like the craziest year ever. And it could be, but I just don't accept it. Don't accept a dull 2025. Nick Martino says, does he fly a Bills flag outside his house? No, outside his house. Most Bills fans do. I don't think his wife would allow it, not because she's a stick in the mud. She's awesome, but she's an architect. And I think she's very, I think that wouldn't work with her whole strategy for the house. So I just don't see that happening. Knife Addict. What up? What up? Good to have you here, Knife Addict. Similar to Knife Junkie. Actually, can you go back to that, Jim? I just want to see something real quick. Is that a sax? That's a cool knife. Whichever the one. They're both cool, but anyway, good to have you here, man. Brian Kerr, pleasure to have you. Brian, do you make knives? So this is where everyone is. Oh, I like the sound of that. So this is where everyone is. Brian, it's good to have you here, man. You just won me over. Don't Ask Me says, that's a beautiful Randall. It is. And you know what? I have two Randalls, and I don't, of course, more Randalls are always welcome, but I don't have any plans to get others. They are not inexpensive. As a matter of fact, they are expensive. But I got this and a Randalls are incredible knives, says Shore Sharp. Nice to have you here, Shore Sharp. This and my number 2 fighting stiletto, I think they call it stiletto. Anyway, it's the exact one I want. 7-inch blade with the stacked leather commando style handle. I got them both from Knife Center over a period of about 2 years, about 3 years ago or so. And they just get these random little injections of Randall knives. You know that if I wanted to special order either one of these from Randall Knives, you're waiting 5 years. It's just baked in. But lucky enough, you can sometimes find them at certain places, and Knife Center is one of them. So if you ever have the druthers to get one, do it. Have a Knife Day says, I love my Randalls. Hey Jim, will you go full to the knife cam for a second? I just want to grab my other Randall now that we're waxing poetic about Randalls. These things are just super sweet. Thank you, sir. Jay Demeter says, did you ever see the guy in ninja outfit that throws the knife by the handle with a twist? The knife is thrown like a dart and spins like a bullet. Oh, about 20 feet. Is this, are you talking about Adept Anderson? There's a guy I follow on Instagram named Adept Anderson, and he is amazing. He does all sorts of parkour stuff, but he's incredible with a bow and arrow, throwing knives, throwing spears, throwing ninja stars or shuriken, whatever you want to call them, all that stuff. He is, and doing sword cuts and stuff, but not just standing in his yard doing it. He's running and flipping and doing this stuff. I'm wondering if you're talking about the same guy. Adrian Fighter 35, good to have you here. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies, he says. Well, good to have you here. And perhaps your wife is with you tonight. I know she likes the show. Good to have you, if you are indeed. Drink water. Good to have you here. Drink water. I will. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to show you this Randall, since Have a Knife Day is continuing the Randall conversation, and then I'm going to show you these cool patches he got for me whilst in Tombstone. So this is my dream fighting stiletto, the number 2-7. The 2 is the model number, and the number after that is the length of the blade. This is a 7-inch blade. They come in 5 and 7, and I've seen them in 8. I'm not sure if they do anything beyond that, but you can get various handles with it too, as you can with most Randalls. But I love this one, the commando style handle. It's got that gorgeous shape, and the sheaths are nothing to sneeze at either. Beautiful leather sheaths. Man, I'm just a sucker for these Randalls. I would love to get more, like a number 14 attack. I'd love to have, but all that said, I am quite happy with what I got here. Craig says, a good knife you'll keep sharp. A good wife will keep you sharp. That is damn wise. I like that. That is 100% true. Brian Kerr says, Bob, which weapon are you most proficient with on the wall behind you? Probably the Gununting. I mean, I guess actually something smaller like that, probably. But I like something with a little weight forward, and this Gununting, not Gununting, Taliban is awesome. This is a Gununting here. That's a Taliban. Here, I'll just pull it off and show you. I have a tactical rosary on it from Bastinelli Knives. I have blessed and put holy water on that, so that's a weapon of sorts. But this thing is just wicked. I love this knife. The Taliban. Actually, this is a nice shiny version of this one, which used to be my dad's. He gave it to me. But that was the when I was a kid, it was, Dad, show us the sword, and he'd pull that down. But I just absolutely love this thing, and it feels so great to do Carenza with. Carenza is basically shadow boxing with a blade in Filipino martial arts. And this thing is great to do that with. It's also really great at cutting pumpkins, which comes up every year around November. The cutting of pumpkins. Set this down here. I don't fuss with putting that back on the wall. Actually, yes, I will, because it will drive me nuts. Average Mountain Biker says, anyone have experience with crew wear? I was wondering if it would rust easily in a humid state like Connecticut. Ask OG Blade or OG Blade Works, or I'm sorry, OG Blade Reviews. Please step in and tell them what you know about crew wear in Connecticut. I love crew wear. I have it on 1 or 2 knives. I have it on my Alex Steingraber Shark, and that is such a great knife, man. Alex Steingraber can make incredible knives. He's a great heat treater and grinder of knives, and I love that little design. Bob, I do make knives, Bob. I got a little of the like I used to tell my daughters when they would read to me, like, you're not the author, don't make stuff up. So I'd love to see what your knives look like, Brian. Maybe you can send me some. I mean, not send me the knives, but send me some pictures. I'd love to check them out. Will B says, greetings and salutations, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Oh, also, well, greetings and salutations to you, Will B. Always a pleasure to have Will B with us. But let me know if you are on Instagram, and I will follow you. I want to check out your knives. JS Bladecraft, nice to have you here, sir. Bob, don't forget where the time. Let me start this again. Don't forget, there was a time where man's EDC was a sword, a knife at their side. Yes, sir. Those were the times of great adventure. Not long lives, but steel in hand must have been grand. Yeah, no kidding. Like just having, just walking through town with this on your hip and just saying, I'm just going to get some eggs, but don't mess. And you know what? In the Philippines, from what I've read, like there are still a lot of places where people carry knives, and/or A lot of places in around the world where machetes are carried all the time. But in the Philippines, they would have the knife kind of stashed in the belt, and if they took it and brought it around to the front in the belt, that meant you better get ready. Shore Sharp says Frank's Classic Knives carries Randall's as well. Ooh, Frank's Classic Knives. I'm gonna have to remember that. What time is it? Okay, about 25 minutes in. I'll have to check if I can't remember that. That seems like easy enough to remember, though. Nick Martino says, anyone see season 7, episode 2 of SEAL Team, where Jason uses the Emerson Elvia to take a guy out in the mall? Such an awesome scene. Ooh, that sounds good. The Elvia, that is thrilling to me. Just to know that in popular entertainment, the Elvia has made a spot. I remember seeing in season 2 of True Detective, one of the characters uses a CQC7 to do something, and it was cool, really cool to see an Emerson. But CQC7 is low-hanging fruit if you're in the art department and you need to give someone a knife. That knife guys will go, ooh, a CQC7, but an Elvia, man, that'll really get me to say ooh. Doug Bowl says, Bob, today I did some pork rib cutting wrapped with plastic wrap, comparing my Forrest Bowie, same as yours, and my 13-inch modified Musso Bowie. Back cut Musso best, yeah, no doubt. Slice Forrest best. Stab, tie. Really? First of all, Doug, I love this test. I mean, you put pork ribs, and I started drooling, and then I read on. I was like, oh, okay, he's doing some business here. But the Musso is cool, and I'm not surprised that it won in the back cut. Do you know Kali's Americano on YouTube? He's a guy in he's in the South. I don't know if he would care if I said where he lives, but he lives in the South, and he does all manner of bladed martial arts, especially Kali, and also American Bowie fighting. And he's got some great videos where he shows off different things about the back cut. That's what I've been watching recently. I'm going to be interviewing him at in February, or no, the end of this month. So I think the interview will come out in February, and I'm really looking forward to talking to him, Doug, about Bowie knife fighting and that kind of thing. So keep your eyes peeled. I love that shape, says Brian Kerr. Are you talking about the Taliban on the wall? I think you probably are, because yeah, it is really a crazy cool shape. I love the angle to the handle. It's cutting before your hand's anywhere near there. Jerry C says, now that is a knife. I agree. And Jerry C, always a pleasure, man. Now, let me show you these patches. Check this out. So these are from Have a Knife Day. The Town Too Tough to Die, Tombstone. And then you can see, let's see, what is it? It's Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. And I can't remember the other two guys, but that's got to be Wyatt Earp. It looks just like in the movie. I love that. I love that movie. We watch it all the time. Well, whenever it's on and my wife are like in front of the TV folding laundry or whatever, and Tombstone's on, we always park it on Tombstone. It's such a great movie. And then this, I love this. I remember always wanting this T-shirt. I used to see it at street fairs in New York. Homeland Security, fighting terrorism since 1492. It always said, what is it? The original Homeland Security. And it's some Native Americans there with their rifles and their war garb on, ready to fight terrorism. I love this. Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much, Have a Knife Day. He also sent me a great Have a Knife Day sticker with his battle kitty. So cute. We have a great cat named Luna. She is such a little badass. She goes out. She spends half of the day outside carousing. She chased off a fox and a snake in one day here a couple of years ago. She is fearless and so sweet for about like 30 seconds, and then she starts attacking your hand. But I believe it's out of love. And then an awesome and then, well, a card here. But also he made this really cool sticker that I can't really, it's gonna be really hard to show what's on it because this is one of those clear stickers. It's really hard to see, but it includes some of the imagery from from the fighting force that he was a part of, and I don't know if he wants me to mention that. So, I mean, I think it's pretty much out there, but it's got some parachutes. Let's put it that way. Average mountain. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. I really appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of me. But also, thank you for sending those really cool patches. Yeah. Average mountain biker says, I have this really cool kukri from Nepal my grandma gave me. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome on a couple of fronts. First of all, your grandma gave it to you, and that's cool. We all have, I shouldn't say we all, but it's somewhat common story that your grandpa gives you a knife. And I love that too. Any sort of gift knife is amazing. And then if it comes from family, that's amazing. But this coming from your grandma, that's super awesome. And also a Nepalese kukri. It's like triple awesome. Shore Sharp says, I live on the Chesapeake Bay. My crew wear doesn't easily rust. Shore Sharp, that's cool. We live, I mean, you're far enough away, but that's cool. I could be there in a couple of hours. I love the Chesapeake Bay. I think it's so beautiful. That whole area is so cool. So crew wear, OG Blade Review says, crew wear won't rust in Connecticut. It's a legislated fact. But seriously, I use Renaissance wax. Oh, okay, cool. Ren wax. I've heard it called. I didn't know that stood for Renaissance, but that makes sense. Craig Vincent, Bob, have you handled the cold steel Facon? If you did, what do you think? I have not, but it's the one that looks kind of like a butcher knife, right? Like a traditional, and not like this. It has more of a drop point, if I remember correctly. But it's the sort of traditional French fighting knife where the blade width is the actual guard. Am I right on that? I'm not saying it's from France because I'm not sure where the Facon is from, but it kind of reminds me of a French fighting knife. Is that right? And then my answer would be, I love it. It's awesome because it's cold steel, and I gotta say, their traditional weapons productions, a lot of it is done in India from Windlass Cutlery, and the stuff I've had from them is outstanding. The only thing I don't like is whatever the coating is that they put on the wood. And usually what I do is I take some isopropyl and rub it until it comes off and it stops leaving a stain, and then I leave it there. Like I did with my 1917 Frontier Bowie, not on the table, and my Wild West Bowie, also not on the table. JS Bladecraft says, what is your definition or interpretation of a Grail knife? Is it a cost factor, quality, availability? How would you describe the knife of your life? And does it change through life? Okay. For me, a Grail knife, part of it, here, I'll give you an example. Anything by Miguel Barbudo, or anything, I love him. He's a Spanish knife maker, if you don't know. He's the guy who designed the Black Cow, the Wee Black Cow. And I know OG Blade Reviews feels the same way about Miguel Barbudo. His stuff is just incredibly awesome and gorgeous. Definitely follow him on Instagram. It's total eye candy, and I've held them at Blade Show, and they're hand candy. They're just amazing knives, especially his. I love his navajas, his traditional navajas, but his fixed blades are just gorgeous. And he forges everything, even his folders, and they're sublime. I love them. Also, Charles Marlowe, and those are very hard to come by. But JS, for me, like, beauty is the pinnacle of it, or the most important part. And then, of course, just by dint of the fact that it's a Grail, it's hard to come by. Then it's also like not easy to come by. So for me, it's got to be beautiful and well made. It has to be well made, but difficult to come by. And does that change over life? Yeah, I think, I used to really, really, really like certain like folders, like a hinderer. Before I had a hinderer, I was like, oh my God, I got. So would I feel that way and become accustomed? And here's a Grail that I will never tire of. and this was made for me, and it's got everything I want in it, like especially the type. I've always loved the sub hilt fighter, the Loveless style sub hilt fighter, and this one's made like to my specs and for me with by Matt Chase, but it also has things that I didn't even think of that he did that make it extra awesome. So it can't be just something that you want. It also has to be something that of someone who's visionary has put their heart and soul in and is unique, and it's something you would never think of. So would it change? Yeah, I guess if I had a Miguel Barbudo and a Charles Marlowe, who's also an amazing. He doesn't make too many of them, but he makes amazing. What do I have in there? Folders, just beautiful. Think of the Boker Squale. That is a Charles Marlowe design. But if I had a couple, I might move on and say, okay, that grail is achieved, and now now there's something else that I really want. I'm sure that would happen. But I don't think I would ever tire of getting more of either of those guys' knives. If that answers it. James Hart says, to me, a grail knife is one I must have regardless of the price. I now have all 3 of the grail knives I wanted. Okay, don't leave us hanging. Don't be coy, James. What are they? Let us know. I really want to know. And I don't think there are any more. See, that's pretty cool. Yeah. For me, it might change in terms of my grail knives have at one point were folders, and now it's folders and fixed blades. So maybe something like that. Or originally they were all fixed blades, and then they were folders for a long time, and now they're fixed blades again with a couple of folders thrown in there. Seth Lang, speaking of Native Americans, new TV series called American Primeval. Lots of knives being used. Seth, first of all, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. I'm dying to watch that show. My wife and I have seen a couple of trailers for it, and we just both have to figure out a time where we can both sit down together and start it. We have a lot of nights that start late and end early, the weeknights anyway. But yeah, American Primeval. I'm very much looking forward to that show. I heard Matt Walsh described it as very much like it reminds him of the book Blood Meridian, not so by Cormac McCarthy, one of my absolute favorite books of all time. And he was saying not in terms of plot, but in terms of like depiction and grittiness, and that really got me. I mean, I've wanted to watch it, and then I heard that, and I was like, oh damn, that sounds awesome. And if you guys haven't read Blood Meridian, you gotta read it. You gotta read it. And there's also a very good book on tape of it. That's how I read it the first time. But it's so worth just savoring the words on paper. Cormac McCarthy is like the greatest writer. He's so good. I've also been on a No Country for Old Men kick that's been on TV a lot recently. I've been watching that every time it's on. That's also a Cormac McCarthy book, perfectly done by the Coen brothers. Nick Martino says, I would love an authentic kukri from Nepal. Check out GGK, Great Gurkha Kukri, I think is what it's called. Someone who saw a video I did on the kukri mentioned that, and I was looking them up, and their stuff is amazing. Nick says, I've been doing some research into ancient Spanish weapons. So interesting. Well, speaking of the kukri, that's kind of where that shape developed from, that sort of sickle, not sickle, but that sort of kukri shape. The falchion, I think it was called. And then it went from there east to the Greeks. I think it went that way instead of the other way, unless I'm mistaken. Because I know Alexander the Great, they used those, but was he first? I don't remember who had it first. The falchion shape, falchion. I don't even know how to say it. I know what it looks like written out. Who had that first? Was that the Spanish or the Macedonians? Let me know. Don't Ask Me says, I think a grail knife is unobtainable. A grail knife would fulfill my want for any more blades, and I will always want another blade. But do you believe the Overton window shifts? Once you achieve grailness, does that move? And does the grail now happen over here? And this is no longer a grail. It's something I've obtained, and In other words, is it always that thing that's unobtainable? I think that's what you're saying. All right. Thank you. You just convinced me. Nick says, Grail, a custom Borka stitch. Oh, God. A custom Borka anything, but definitely a custom stitch. They are gorgeous. He's an interesting guy. I'd love to have him on to talk to him. So what's his name? Berenji? Something Berenji, I think. Average Mountain Biker says, I've been looking at some Les George knives. Oh, like the Rock Eye lately. Seems like a really cool dude. He is a really cool dude. I've interviewed him on the Sunday show a couple of times, and I think it's time to have him back on because I've been saying that for about a year since I got his collaboration knife with Alan Olishowitz. Now, I was talking about Matt Chase of Hogtooth Knives. Hogtooth is the trophy you get when you achieve when you graduate from Marine Scout Sniper School. Matt is a former Scout Sniper. He's friends with Les George, and so was part of Les George's 1918 Knuckle Duster project. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but Les George is very into daggers, and he's very into that 1918 knuckle duster knife, and he cast a whole bunch of those knuckles and sent them out to various knife makers, and Matt was one of them. He made he's made 4, I think, at this point. Incredibly beautiful dagger, Sanmai dagger blades and Damascus dagger blades that he mounted in those, and that's a grail right there. But anyway, Les George is a super cool guy, and his knife designs that he has other people make and the knives he makes are just, they are so gorgeous. He used to be an EOD guy, so he was a bomb disposal guy in the Marines, which is kind of cool. James Hart says, since I started collecting the Buck 100 series sheath knives back in the 80s, I had to finish the collection. The 2 Grail knives I bought from Buck is the 120 General and the 124 Frontiersman. I'm not sure which one the Frontiersman is. I love the General. I don't have that. I have the 119, and I really like that. That was a gift from my wife's cousin's husband a few years ago, and I was just playing with that tonight. I was not playing with it. I was examining it and using it. I was just playing with it, but it's so cool. And what I love about that knife, and I think the 120, is the 0 ground swedge. It would be great for a back cut, but I know it's a hunting knife. I'm sorry. Can you go back to James? I totally, James. Yes, they are factory made, but I had to have them. Oh yeah. And sometimes you just have to fill out a collection. Believe me, I know that. Jody Darden, good to have you here, Jody. My first Knife Junkie live. Hello, all. Well, welcome, man. It's very nice to have you. Very nice to have you. I'm going to put this down. Seth Lang. Cheers, Bob. Hello, Seth. Cheers to you, sir. Except it's dry January, so not cheers. It's more like, hi, how are you? I am doing that, and I'm pretty sure my wife is doing a moist January. I think I am going to, meaning she's having just a tiny bit of wine now and again. I think I'm going to keep with it for a while. I just feel better. Sleeping better is really what it is. Level on up. Sup, junkies? Good to have you level on up. I gotta move on my run of show here. Paul Might, nice to have you here, Paul. With the kitty with the night vision goggles, that's cool. They've tried to make Blood Meridian into a movie so many times, it's just cursed at this point. Yeah, I read a little while ago that I think it was James Franco was trying to make it or something. I'm like, no, please, no. It would have to be. Who would I want to make that movie? Let me think about that. I mean, yeah, that movie. So much of it, so much of that book is the long spans of time between horrible scenes, horrifying scenes where they're just in these terrible landscapes and just existing, and it's great to read, but I don't know how that would translate into a movie. I mean, if I were a great director, I think I could. I think I know how I would do it, but I'm not not a great director. Mark Stallman, good to have you here, Mark. An old school grail knife I have desired for years is the Buck Kalinga. That is a cool knife. We were talking about. I like that talk about a scalloped handle. James Moore, nice to have you here, James. Hello again, knife aficionados. James, it's always a pleasure. Speaking of someone who's got grails, I mean, this guy, his collection. We're talking about sometimes you just have to fill out a collection, like my large knife collection from Cold Steel. You could break it up into a number of sub collections, but the most interesting one would be the large folding Bowies from Cold Steel. And by the way, the Recon 1 XL in clip point with XHP steel is being re-released this year. So they're listening. Hopefully they do a great job. Gary C says, I have a 90s Uncle Henry two-bladed Stockman worth maybe $30, but priceless to me since my dad bought and gave it to me. That's awesome. And if by chance I ever have kids, I hope you do, sir. It would go to them like it should. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's cool. I love that. Those are the knives that mean the most. They might not be the grailiest of grails, but they are because they've been given to you by someone who you love. JS says, well done, Bob. Thank you for answering my question. Your podcasts are fantastic. Thank you so much. So are yours, man. You guys crush. And I love it. Paul Might says, I am currently stuck on Moorish-made knives. Highly recommended. I don't know them. Moorish-made knives. I have to check them out. Oh, my gosh. I think it's time in just a second. The Knife's Edge. The Knight's Edge. Good to have you here, Knight's Edge. I finally attained my grail a few weeks ago, the Norseman. That is a grail for sure. A lot of people's grails. Then earlier this week, attained my second grail, this Strider SNG, and now the newest of grails that I shall attain finally, the Sparrow Strix. God, Sparrow knives are gorgeous, and I love Striders, the SNG and the SMF. I've always had the SMF, really dig that, and well done on attaining your grails. The Norseman, not a grail of mine, but I've had one on loan, and they are exquisite for sure. Chris 229, nice to have you here, Chris. Evening, everyone, he says. On that note, Chris, it's time to get finally to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
All right, in my front right pocket today, I had the just awesome Amphibian from Microtech. I think this was my favorite folder from 2024. Not that I don't really do that kind of list, but I think this is my favorite one I got and favorite release. I'm not getting most of the new knives that come out. We go to other channels for that. I go to other channels for that. Think Neves Knives and Stasa et al. Not at all, and others. I love their stuff. Because they get all the new stuff and have great insights. For me, though, this was just at the top. Absolutely love it. Had it in my pocket today in case anything went wrong. I had bad car issues today, and it sucks because my car is so reliable, has been for 10 years, and then last night I just barely limped into the driveway, and I almost started massive traffic. I live right outside DC, and it's always massive traffic. And I was almost responsible for a huge, rush hour snag. And I wasn't. I was able to get home. But this morning I had to have it towed. I happened to have a rental car while it's being fixed. And I really like my rental car. I want it pretty badly, actually. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe that one will prove to suck. But so far, I really like it. Okay, also in my front, it went back and forth between front left and front right, and in a little leather slip made by Duty's Daggers. Kevin Duty, I should say. I had the beautiful GEC number 14. I got this off of the Apostle Peas Thursday night sale a few years ago. I am a huge sucker. I love GECs. I shouldn't say I'm a huge sucker. I should say I'm a huge sucker for GECs. I love them, but I really love the autumn bone. I love the autumn bone. You get a little bit of that golden amber ochre kind of close to the bolster, and then it graduates into this really deep red and brown. I just love it. It's so gorgeous. And this one, I have a couple of knives from GEC in that bone, and then this one's got my favorite of spear points with the long pull and the machine ground swedge. Really, really nice. I haven't been carrying my GECs in quite a while. I've been sort of wrapped up in Jack Wolf knives, and man, it was really nice to carry this knife and have it back in my pocket. Also, I had on my belt right up front next to my belt buckle, the Adversary from TKL Knives. I just can't get enough of the TKLs lately, and this one is just so good. It's so awesome. They just did a drop yesterday where I think 5 knives are on offer, and of course you got to wait for them, but you pre-order them, and then he makes them, finishes them, and gets them to you. Now, a cool thing about that is that he always has the materials to everything that he drops. In other words, the knives aren't all made, but he has all the materials to make them, like the blanks cut out, the steel bought at the very least, the handles in the works, and all of that. So he's not going to go all Survive knives on you. I hate to make that reference, but Survive knives, these incredible knives that everyone loved, and the business model was just not right, and so they had to go away. But the TKL knives, I can never carry. I don't like all the same blades. So I had a recurve here with the serrations. I had a straight bladed spear point, and then had to have a Wharncliffe on me. And this was just ooh la la. I love this. Sorry about the ooh la la. Just kind of came out. I love that one. It carries so easily and well on the belt, and it just lines up perfectly. And you just throw a shirt over it, and no one's any the wiser that you have a cool fixed blade on you. And then my emotional support knife, my ESK today, was this beautiful after hours jack from Jack Wolf Knives. Look at that. I mean, that combination of that dark washed titanium integral bolsters, integral with the liners, but with that dark matter red carbon fiber, it is just so gorgeous. I love it. I love it. I love that combination. I have that combination on my Venom jack, my most recent Venom jack, and it is stunning. That one has a dark washed blade too. If you're a fan, like I am, of tortoiseshell, it's the first Jack Wolf knife with tortoiseshell. Whew, my lands, is that beautiful. Go check that out. So this has been riding daily in my back left pocket, because it is a Jack Wolf knife with a lock and a flipper, and that's a 3.25-inch blade, and it's got a great clip. It also comes with a filler tab in case you want to remove the clip and carry it in a slip, but not I really like it like that. I had a flashlight on me today too, because this morning, early morning, I was under the hood of my car. Not like I know what I'm doing under there, but I just was plugging it in to a battery charger to see if I could. It's an alternator issue, but I was trying to see if I could trick it. Of course, I couldn't, but I was using this, and I didn't have my baseball cap. Ordinarily, if I have a baseball cap on, you just clip this to the cap, and you've got a headlight, and that works great. But this was in my mouth, and then I set it down, and it rolled around, and it didn't roll around like roll off of anything, but it was sliding, and because all the surfaces under the hood are kind of curved. And then I realized I should have been using this. This is I love this one too. This is the Olight. So this is the i3T EOS. I really like this. I have a couple of them, though. This is the only one I can find right now, which pisses me off. But this one I love too. This is the Arkfeld by Olight. And then this one's got a laser. So I like to play with the cat with the laser. Also, my dog goes nuts for the laser, chases it around. It's real easy, lazy playing with the dog, just using that laser. But this thing's great, and I should have used this because it has a magnetic base, and I could have just stuck it to the hood and had it point exactly where I needed it, and I didn't think of it until tonight. So next time, hopefully there isn't a next time. That's what I had on me today, minus the Arkfeld. What did you guys have? Let me know. Drop it in the description, and I will critique. No, I won't critique. I will say, oh, I need one of those, which is usually what happens because we have a bunch of classy viewers here with a bunch of awesome knives. So let me know what you're carrying. And then soon, I need to plug this. The Bulbasaur. Please put #knife. I want to see like everyone who's here put #knife in there. So everyone who's viewing has a chance, but also everyone who has a chance has a slightly lower chance so that whoever wins, when you win it, it's like, oh my gosh, I won out of all these people. So everyone do it. Just do it. #knife in the comments. And it's got to be, it can't be spelled out hashtag. It has to be an actual pound sign so that the random number generator will recognize it. This, by the way, comes with one of these weird shield and carry cases. I say weird because no one carries a modern clip knife in a belt sheath, but this is a very stout Cordura belt sheath with a snap, so you don't have to take your belt off. And I keep a Leatherman in one of these. You can put a lot of different tools in here. Of course, you can put the Bulbasaur in there if that's to your liking. And then also, I'm gonna throw in the box with it, or the padded envelope with it, this here knife roll from Civivi We Send Cut. So please put #knife down below. If you don't like the Bulbasaur, don't want the Bulbasaur, which by the way has I think it's 14C. Yeah, 14C28 and Sandvik. It is also very thin and slicey. It's a really cool knife. A barong in your pocket. If you don't want it, you can always give it away as a gift and look like Mr. Big Man, or you can sell it. OG Blade Reviews says, go big or go home. So I did both. Very nice. Oh, the Hoback Summit. That is a cool damn knife. And there was a deal last week. It was like $160. It's like a $500 knife for $160. And Dave took advantage. Bastinelli Big Dragotac. Great knife. Haven't carried that in ages. Cold Steel Talwar. Hopefully the 6-inch or 5.5 inch. The Custom Knife Factory Eagle Rock and the PMP Berserker Tonto. PMP, man, wow. Those knives are big. What is the Eagle Rock? I'm not sure what that is, but I know it's sweet. Roman M, nice to have you here, Roman. Hey, guys, he says, well, hello to you, sir. What were you carrying? We're at the pocket check. Dump always kind of sounds like gross. I don't pocket dump. I dump where it belongs. Nick Martino says, Metallica was my first concert, and don't ask me, Metallica and Danzig. One of my favorite high school concerts was Metallica and the Cult. And it was the And Justice for All tour. So that tells you when I was in high school. Level on up, hit that like button. Level on up. I like the cut of your jib, sir. Yes, hit that like button and subscribe while you're at it. If you're not subscribed, why not? Why not? What do you lose? I'm not charging anything for subscriptions, so go for it. Doug Bowl says, Bob, I saw a documentary that the Greek Spartans also used the falchion swords besides the 18-inch short swords, then by Alexander the Great. Okay. So Alexander came a little bit later, but so those short swords are cool too. They're wasp-waisted, like large wasp-waisted daggers, double-edged, symmetrical beauties. You know, I love the Alexander movie by Oliver Stone. That is a really good movie. I think it is. I enjoy it. I also like Oliver Stone movies, even though I think sometimes when I see him interviewed, I'm like, I don't care for him all the time, but he's a pretty amazing director. He's like the one experimental filmmaker that has gets Hollywood budgets. He's awesome. James Hart says, I actually carried a knife when I went to the grocery store. Don't you normally? I actually carried a knife when I went out to the grocery store. Are you being facetious? Of course you did, James. My favorite Cold Steel Voyager Clip Point XL, as seen in my hand. 5.5-inch blade. In my EDC bag, my Swiss Army knife and my Gerber multi-tool. What Swiss Army knife? Because that's my multi-tool. I seem to have lost my everyday carry Leatherman. I don't know where the hell it is, but I very rarely use it, so I don't know how I could have lost it. I was just looking for it today. Jerry C said, that's a beefy serration on your pocket check folder, Bob. Bet that baby would cut through rebar. Yeah, let me show you this. This is something I really like about Microtech serrations. I like serrations, but what I really like about Microtech serrations is that the tips of the teeth stand proud of the main edge, as opposed to think of the serrations on, say, a Griptilian, where they're cut in and they're like the edges here, and then the serrations are up here. That just, I don't know. I'm sure they work fine, but I just don't like the way they look. I'll be honest. So yeah, the serrations on this are awesome. And then of course you have them on the inside of a recurve. Yeah, double good. Jay Demeter says, I have a buck knife, 75th anniversary 119 in Boss S30V with a red micarta. That sounds beautiful. A real keeper, carrying the Spyderco 100 Pacer in CTX XHP. That is a cool knife. I've been seeing someone is making the 100 Pacer besides the maker, and I can't remember who that maker is. But that is such a cool design. 100 Pacer refers to a snake that if it strikes you, you'll be dead within 100 paces, which I think is cool. A cool name, you know. Broke Arizona Knives. Good to have you here, Broke Arizona Knives. Damn, that's beautiful. I agree. It is just such a cool knife. And it's one of the rare knives that is also more beautiful with serrations, in my opinion. Oh, she's pretty, says Bernie 2G. Bernie 2G, good to have you here. So's your kitty. Here's another kitty here with we have two kitties, one with sunglasses and one with night vision goggles. I love it. Paul Might says that T-Kel is gnarly. Yes, it is, sir. Jim, could you go wide for a sec to the knife cam? I'm going to put this down because in a minute I'm going to be talking and showing off one of my new knives, and it's from this company, Station 9. I love the Station 9, and they have something really cool and new that I share a love of with my good buddy OG Blade Reviews, and I just had to put some wool socks on. My feet are freezing, and I didn't want you to have to see that, but you did anyway. So I'm going to show that in a minute. But next week is the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway, and geez, I got a lot going on here, and I got a lot to show, and I'm just blabbing. But am I blabbing? We're conversing. You're talking to me. I'm talking to you. Split and Slices says, Carrie is the Recon 1 spear point. Nice. And my TPK, traditional pocket knives, Appalachian Ridge Runner. Such a cool one in S90V and a hollow. And hollow be thy grind. That is cool. I didn't know that. I kind of get that. I think I have to get the Appalachian Ridge Runner. That's kind of a big one, isn't it? Isn't it, Byron? Bernie 2G, I love my T-Kel knives. Yeah, me too, man. I love my T-Kel knives. As a matter of fact, I just did a podcast on my T-Kel knives collection, the Wednesday show. Check that out. It's a lot of T-Kel eye candy. Speaking of which, James Moore always has something gorgeous. Pocket check, Shirogorov F3 NS Custom Division, Clark Gunstock, and BRR Gava. You explained that BRR Gava to me, and I don't remember what that is. I love the Shirogorov F3. I've never had one, but I'd love to have a Shirogorov. Will be had a ZT0308. That's a cool one. I like that knife a lot. Microtech Amphibian, good man. Microtech Hera 2. Bastinelli Red V2. That's a cool one. That's got the recurve Tonto, doesn't it? Sort of. Olight Baton 3. And Cool Hand G10 Bolt Pen. That sounds beautiful. All right, we're going to do two things here. We're going to give away that knife, but before we do, I'm going to show you what we'll be giving away to Gentlemen Junkies next week. The Knight's Edge says, I may steal your Grail theme for Saturday mornings live at Knife Junkie. Good topic. Oh, nice. Go for it. Knight's Edge, Saturday morning live. Oh, I will have to check that out. Is your channel called Knight's Edge? Because I don't think I'm following you, and I must and shall. Kill Kenny, good to have you here, Kill Kenny. Today's carry, Spyderco Military 2 camo. I need a Military 2. Need? No. Want? Yes. I have the Military, and I like it a lot, but all of the changes they made are so welcome. I want to get that. And the Kaiser Harpoon Deadpool. Don't know which one that is. Okay, check this out. We're giving away one of these. Now, I showed this off last week. This one is mine. I didn't want to take yours out of the box, but this is the, let me do this. This is the Bad Feather Knives Raider Creek EDC. It is a fixed blade out the front pocket knife, and it might look long in the pocket, but actually it's not. It's smaller than one of the large cold steels. Let's see, a little bit bigger than the Amphibian. It sits very nicely in the pocket. The way it's, you got your weight down low, and it just sort of melts in this thin tang, and this clips onto the back of your pocket. You don't even notice it, but it is such a cool and innovative design. And the maker, Dan, sent me one to give away. So this is going in the Knife Junkie giveaway, Gentleman Junkie giveaway next week. I am not so good at opening it one-handed with my left hand, not so bad with my right. It's kind of a gravity knife in a way. You just kind of let it fall. And I can use this with my work gloves, which is nice, though I haven't done any work with it. But now I'm done being precious with it, and I'm going to start using it. It's got a nice polished S35 VN blade it's sort of a polished stonewash, if you will. And at first I was very hesitant to use it for that reason, but then Dan was like, come on, he didn't say this, he's a very nice guy, but basically like, don't be such a precious little snowflake bundle of love and just use the damn knife. It's meant for hard use. That's hence the full tang, and hence this amazing clipping system, or locking system, I should say. It self-adjusts when you open it up and clean it, and when you put it back together, it removes all the slop out of the system. If you develop any slop, I have not. I've been playing with it obsessively, but not using it. So maybe when you use it, a little bit of. But I can't imagine, because when you push this in it clamps down really nicely. This is cool because it comes with it comes with basically a written thing on how to use it and it comes with literature on how to use it, how to break it down, and all of that. And then it also comes, and this is how I have this hanging to my the outside of my knife case, a very strong magnet with a hook, and then you just hooks like this on my case, and it's always right there. So it's kind of going to become my shop knife, but also, I don't know, I EDC'd it for the first time the other day, and I guess that's a weird thing to say. EDC is every day, but I carried it like an EDC the other day in my left pocket, actually. My phone slid in next to it. It was great. I really like this knife. And one lucky gentleman junkie next week stands to win it, or will win it. The Knight's Edge. I carried my Spyderco Native 5 Salt with applied weapons technology scales and a Lynch Northwest clip and an Olight Arkfeld Pro Light. Yeah, these things are cool. Now, this one is not a Pro Light, I don't think. This was this one was a one that they put out a couple of summers ago. I think it was a special sort of, it's called the Summer 3, something, Summer 3. Craig Vincent, Cold Steel 3V 8010 limited titanium. That's sweet. Swift 3 in M4. What? I didn't know they made that in M4. I like the Swift 3 though. Gotta say, and I like M4. XL Voyager drop point with the jimping. They should put on all of them now. The Raja 2, the American Lawman, the Black Talon Serrated. That's a sweet one. The SR1 Light Tonto. Love that one too. CMB Predator. That's a cool one. Manganis Kaimano Purple Haze. Beautiful. He's I'm going to be interviewing Sharif Manganis next week, and that'll go up probably next week, I think, next Sunday. Yeah. Kaiser Milita, Ty Micarta. Craig, nice carry, man. All right, let's give this away. Let's do this right now. 111. Our dogs go nuts for the lasers. They almost climb the walls. Yeah, they love the lasers. I assumed it was only cats. Look at that. Do you believe I once, well, I don't mean to bad talk a friend, but I had a friend who once tried to get, we had a cat together, and she tried to get it to be vegan. Can you imagine a vegan cat? I think her heart was in the right place. She just didn't do the research. Okay, so let's do this, shall we? Let's give this awesome barong-like Bulbasaur away. 14C28N G10, beautifully contoured and sculpted dual color G10. Forgot to show this off. Very cool pivot treatment, because you have an anodized pivot collar, and then you have a pivot collar of the same G10 standing proud from the knife there. Great flipper action and a nice clip and the whole 9 yards. Those 9 yards include the carry case, and then this We Sencut Civivi knife roll. All right, let's give this away. How many do we have here? Hashtag knife. 61 entries. All right, good enough for me. Let's do this in 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see. It always does a little tease thing where it's like you think it's going to be Super Team VIP. Super Team VIP, congratulations, sir, presumably. You are the winner of this awesome Shield and Knives Bulbasaur. Do be sure, I don't recognize your name. Put it up again, Jim, if you will, just so I can write it down. Super Team VIP, just like how it sounds. Okay. So Super Team, please do me a favor and do yourself a favor, and Team VIP. Send me an email to TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com and put knife winner Super Team VIP in the Ray line, in the subject line, and then give me your address. I will get this out to you next week. It's going to be next Tuesday that I will get that in the mail to you. I know I can't make it tomorrow, and Monday is going to be a gigantic Charlie Foxtrot in this area. Plus, I think it's MLK Day on Monday and Inauguration Day, and I'm outside of DC, so it's going to be crazy. Yeah, so it is a postal holiday. Thank you, Jim. So next Tuesday, we'll go out to you, Super Team VIP, and Super Team, make a comment here, and I mean, send me an email. Give me your address. My God, why is that so hard for me to say? And I will get this out to you. All right, let's see. Paul Might says, full tie Arcona. Buran. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the Arcona Nettle. I knew that company, but I was trying to think of what the Buran. Very nice, and that's designed by Ivan Braganets, I think. Isn't that right? And the MBK Monterey Bay Knives WPK. Okay, I can't remember which one that is, but I know that all Monterey Bay knives are lookers. They're just not all in the right size for me, but anything Ray Laconico designs, as far as I'm concerned, is beautiful. And I think he designs most of their knives. Sterling Stutes, nice to have you here, Sterling. Knife standards are 3 stone milled and Kaiser Harpoon Mini in 10V. Now I know 10V. Wow. What are the qualities of 10V steel? Is that super toughness? I know what the Kaiser Harpoon is, but knife standards RR3 stone milled. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. I've heard of knife standards, but I don't know if I'd be able to pick one out of a lineup. Ron Crow, I'm carrying the Kaiser Veritas and the Manganas Kaimano. Wow, cool, man. We got two Kaimanos in the crowd. The Night's Edge says, I was looking at the Bulbasaur on Amazon a while back. The mirror is intriguing. I wouldn't call this a mirror. Let's see, is it? It's sort of a satin. Mine is. I'm sorry. Super Team VIP's Bulbasaur is a satin finish, but mirror, very interesting. Have a Knife Day says, I got my first handmade folder this month. First knife of the month. It's a Robert Young Knives of Arkansas. It's called the City Folder. Small. Cool. Have you done a video yet? I don't think I've seen a video of that yet. Talakar says, Leatherman Surge and Access, Gerber Dime and Shard, Swiss Army Knife Fieldmaster, Cold Steel 8010, Giant Mouse, Ace Jagd, Tempest Microburst, that's a cool one, Fifth Pocket, TKL Knives, Nighthawk, that's an awesome one, and the Olight i3T and Arkveld UV, Rovivon A3, and Forest Hank. Mentioning Giant Mouse, isn't that crazy that Jens Anzo is leaving Giant Mouse? That's crazy to me. Adrian Fighter 35 says, today's carry was my Cold Steel Voyager Clip Point XL for work and Double Agent 1 serrated for self-defense. Very, very nice. What's your work, if you don't mind my asking, that you need/want a large cold steel? I want that job. That's cool. Mine doesn't require this knife. That doesn't mean I don't have it with me. Sometimes. Ron Crow says, what's a pound sign? Is it the number sign? Yes, it is. It is. And in Great Britain, they call it the hashtag, which is funny that in the States that we use hashtag instead of pound. Don't Ask Me says, I have my first custom order coming from Wyatt Hines War Bowie. Oh God, it looks amazing. I had him on my list. I think I invited him and haven't heard back from him. Wyatt Hines. He came as a recommendation from one of you good folk. I don't know, could have been you. But yeah, I'd like to talk to him, and I'd love to have one of his knives. Oh God, speaking of great knives and Bowie's, definitely coming up this Sunday, we have Nick Bachtel of Bachtel Forging Company coming on, and oh my God, his stuff is incredible, and he's very influenced by early American knives and even the processes. I mean, he's got a power hammer, and it's a steam power hammer. This guy is legit. Very, very nice guy. Great guy, half my age, which I think is crazy. Now that there are people half my age who are adults doing things. But he lives really close to my parents, and I was just home to visit over Christmas, and I could have gone to see them. Could have gone to see him. I'm sorry, can you go back to the last comment, Jim? I was waxing poetic. Jerry C says, hell, I'll be keeping that bad boy. It came from my brother Bob, from Brother Bob. It's a keeper. Sweet. Yeah, I'd be keeping that bad boy. Right on. Thank you, Jerry. Let's see. King of Knives says, I was wearing my TKL 001 Night Stalker CQC Tor Serpent and the Warncliffe Hogue Deca. A fine choice of knives in your 001. If anyone's wondering what that is this gorgeous knife right here. And I can only say gorgeous because I didn't make it. I just helped design it. My blade design and our handle design. Tim is a master at handles and ergonomics and blades and knives in general. He is incredible. But what he did with my design to turn it into a comfortable handle, it was awesome. Actually, I will take a moment and see if I can find it. If you're in the market for a TKL knife, oh yes, thank you, Jim. We have an affiliate link with them now, which is very cool, and it's a discount code. So it's not just an affiliate link; it's a discount code. Let me show you the original. So this is the original drawing, and then I made a better drawing, but these are the originals that became the Agent series. So these are the first ones, and then I did a cleaned up sketch of it somewhere. But so it's always kind of cool to look at how it started and how it's going, as they like to say in the meme world. So yes, love this thing. I carry this all the time. I love this knife. And this one I have a DCC clip on. It rides horizontally up front. And then I have a second one with a DCC clip for 3 o'clock carry. So I have 2 Agent 001s. No big deal. Hashtag no big deal. Yes, it is. I love it. So psyched. Timothy Chadwick. Nice to have you here, Timothy. I'm a very fortunate guy, as today's carry has the endorsement of none other than Lynn Thompson and yourself, Bob. Oh, I knew you were going to say this. It's the Gin from Turner CNC, double-edged with G10. Oh, God, I love that knife. I love that knife. It was on loan to me by Jock's Knife. Very, very generous loan. And the only thing I would change is I would have double-edged it for sure. But I think living where he lives, it would be extra bad. I mean, already it's probably not extremely legal. Well, I think it's legal to own and have in your house, but you certainly can't walk around with it. The Night's Edge says, I got to run, y'all. Have a good one. See you Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. Central Time, live from the garage, hopefully. We can talk about how I stole Knife Junkie's Grail topic. Night's Edge, man, it's great to have you here. That wasn't my topic. JS brought that up. JS Bladecraft brought that up, but I just blathered on at the mouth. It was great to have you here, Night's Edge. Please come back next Thursday. And remember to check out his live, 9:30 Saturday morning. That's 9:30 Central. So check it out. Great to have you here, sir. Jody Darden, I'd love to get the TKL Piranha. That's a cool little one. And you can get, beard's itching tonight. You can get the TKL Piranha with one of the Sentry grips. Now, I don't have my knife with the Sentry grip out. I have Sentry grips on my whatchamacallit. But this is on my Guardian. But this knife, this is the Jared Neve collaboration, the Neve's Knives collaboration with TKL Knives. But this is the handle for the, just forget the ring and forget the blade. That is the Piranha handle. So the Piranha handle also, let's see, what am I trying to say? You can get the Piranha handle with the ring in a Sentry grip. So you can take that Piranha, get the Sentry grip, which is a G10 ring on one half and then just a regular scale on the other. And it is great. Meets in the middle and is aligned perfectly. But you can get that for your little Piranha, which is a really cool option, I think, because the Piranha is a great little knife, drop in the pocket. If you added that ring, you'd add a little bit of security on the pull, on the draw or whatever, and a little bit extra length if you like to just use a ring knife like this, which is what I usually do. Not on this one, but most ring knives. I just like it as a pommel. and it's still going to be a tiny little knife. That Piranha is such a cool little knife. Love it. I also like this FLN. James Hart says the Swiss Army Deluxe Tinker is okay, Deluxe Tinker. Nice. That has the saw. It has scissors and okay, you answered it. It has scissors and mini pliers. Well, I actually went out today. The newest knife in my EDC bag is the Cold Steel Voyager drop point with the 4-inch blade, and it is sharp. Yeah, it's sharp, and it's got two things that are different from all the other Voyagers. Well, no, that's not true. The Tonto, it's similar to the Tonto in that it's not full flat ground. That's all. Not a big deal. All right, Humphrey Kimpton, good to have you here, Humphrey. #knife and Civivi P87 Concept Mini Helix. I love Concept, and the Helix is a cool design. Civivi P87. I'm not sure I know what that is. I mean, I know I'm not sure what that is, though if I saw it, I'd probably recognize it. Roman M carried a ABW button lock. American Blade Works button lock and the slip joint. That thing is awesome. I love that slip joint, and he makes just awesome knives. Let me show you some cool stuff I got this. Let's see. War Room EDC says, "What's your take on the Spyderco Subvert sprint run, Bob?" I don't have a take on it. I'm trying to think of what the Subvert is. I like the sprint runs. Let me just say that. I think it's definitely for a knife company. It is a great thing to do. I like how they test out steels, how they use their knives as different. Well, first of all, they're smart. They know that sprint runs are collectible. What is the Subvert? What is it? Remind me of what the Subvert is, please, and what makes up this sprint run. But I like sprint runs in general. If I were thank God I'm not a ravenous Spyderco collector. I mean, I have a pretty good collection of Spydercos. I guess what I mean is I'm glad I'm not I'm glad I don't collect paramilitaries, because there are so many different sprint runs of that. And if you're a collector, you have to get them. Damn it. What is the Subvert? Oh, I know what that is. Is that the Black Snow Customs knife? I think it might be. Another grail for me is a few from Bless Knives. Yeah, definitely. Nick Martino, you got good taste, brother. Those Bless Knives are awesome. So is this Work Tough gear. Not that I'm putting them in the same thing. That was just kind of a sloppy segue. Nick Downey's building me. Nick Downey's building me a Ripley as we speak, says War Room. That Ripley is so cool. I love that knife. And everything handmade. It's ridiculous. His knives are crazy. Doug Bowl says, Bob had to go into areas that I dealt with in the police department, to help a buddy. Carried my short, high lumens flashlight, police pepper spray, and my 21-inch expandable baton I carried on duty. Oof, sounds like you were ready to go. Those get blind, get crippled, like get hit with that friggin' baton in the legs while you're like, oh, and get sprayed in the face. That's a good. Doug, I'm glad you're back. Let me put it that way. I'm glad you were able to help your friend, and that you didn't run into anything you couldn't handle. But I have a feeling Doug Bowl can handle himself quite well. Given some of the knives he's given me, thank you very much, always, for those. But also just knowing his police experience and his good heart, I think he knows how to handle those bad areas. Pete Davidson, good to have you here, Pete. Good day, blokes. If I'm honest, I don't need all those knives, but I feel naked if I leave the house with anything less than 2, as do I. A multi-tool pen and a flashlight. No doubt. Especially the knife, but yeah, 2 is 1. Todd Carr says, defiantly considered a gravity knife, but cool though. Oh wait, defiantly considered a gravity knife, but cool though. Definitely. My gosh, I should have known. Definitely considered a gravity knife, but cool though. Is it though? Yeah, I guess it is. Pete Davidson says, carried my delicate K390 Warncliffe. Ooh, nice. That has been titaniumed and karambitized. I like these. Those are good verbs. Verbizing nouns. The only primary carry folder I use with a sub 3.75 inch blade. Yes, there are very few for me in that realm too. Jacob Green. My carry today was the M21, so that's CRKT, and right, and a Spyderco Endura with custom carbon fiber scales. Very nice. I ordered from an artist in Ukraine. Ooh, that sounds cool. M21. You talk about the large vegan cats are great for Texas. Yes, yes, right quick too. Check out this Steadfast. I just got to show it. It's so cool. I love the shape of that blade. Nice, long, stabby clip point with a thumb placement place. It's not quite a ramp, but a place to put your thumb without jimping. I would like it with jimping, but it's just fine without it. This is K329 steel. I'm uncertain of the steel, except with what I've done with my V44X and Puzon Predator and Predator Bowie, and they work great. At least for, I think they're very tough because I've pounded those both through some pretty tough wood for the family fire pit. This thing is so cool. It's even better in person, I gotta say. But it's like a combat utility knife, if you will. I think it would be awesome for as a tactical. It's kind of a fighter. It looks like a fighter to me. I know it's kind of a field knife, but the field is full of zombies or something because it's just a great kind of fighting design. There is Cal Richardson Custom Knives. That's his logo, or is it Van Richardson? I need to find out about this guy. I tried searching him on Instagram, and I don't think I put the right thing in because I couldn't find him. I love this knife. I don't love the sheath, but that's how I feel mostly about Work Tough Gear sheaths. A, they have a very big footprint, and B, the retention is just insane. I know it'll loosen up, but it takes some doing to get it out. But I love this knife. So Work Tough Gear Steadfast, new in the collection this past week. As is this. This is the one I was talking about that Dave has been showing off. I love this. This is the Station 9 number 12. Check this out. It's just so gnarly. I love it. I think that's VG10, which would make this, I think, the first Station 9 using VG10. Usually they use 1095 or D2. Really aggressive jimping here that doesn't hurt because it's not peaked. It's not triangular. It's not like a saw blade, but the jimps are quite sharp. So your thumb is not sliding up onto that nasty serration. And I was wondering if this would be sharp. The tip, the tip is sharp, but this back part of the tip, just forward of the serrations, are not. Just a wicked sort of Picalle, sort of Persian-y knife. This to me, really great in the reverse grip and optimized for trapping. That's something you do, and I'm sure many knife arts, but I know it from Filipino martial arts where you're trapping someone's arm, someone's weapon hand comes in or something like that. And I don't want to get too close, but this is just like that hand is not getting away. And if it does, or when you disengage, you not only get that horrible, horrible cut from the serrations, but you get a nasty tip gash too. Like most knives, they don't even have upswept blades really, or dramatically upswept. You could use this and be trapping here, and then as you pull off, just get a nasty tip gash just by drawing it in a little bit. This, by the way, is a beautiful knife, the Terzuola Tomashi E. made by Civivi. Such a nice. This is a great fixed blade knife. If you're like, I want a fixed blade knife, something medium, something I can carry easily, I highly recommend this knife. This thing is awesome. But what we are talking about right now is the Station 9 number 12, and I'm just smitten. I love this knife. But I just put this on. This is the Concealed Carry Concepts clip, upside down, but it'll do just fine upside down. I have not carried it like this yet. I've carried it with the static line cord attached to my belt and then this tucked in my waist, and it worked pretty well. But I've gained a couple of pounds over Christmas that I'm trying to lose, and it was not as comfortable. My pants are now just slightly a little more snug than they were a month ago. So that form of carry was good in the pair of khakis I have, but in a pair of jeans I had, it was painful. So I switched it up to that clip. But you got to be careful when you're carrying a knife like this on the waist, because if you do have a protruding belly, I'm not saying my belly protrudes, just saying it's snug in my pants, you could cut yourself pretty nastily across the bottom of your belly. So you do have to be realistic in kind of self-aware when you carry a double-edged knife on your waist like that, because you could really hurt yourself. Pete Davidson says, love those Olights. Used to swear by a Surefire 6P until I discovered an equivalent Olight that was 3 times as bright, half the weight, and half the price. Sorry, Uncle Sam, but Uncle Ping's is better. Yeah, well, yeah. No comment. I don't know. I don't have any Surefires. I know they are expensive though. Oh, here's another cool one I got. Craig Vincent might appreciate this. Bob, a vegan cat is up there with a samurai who uses a pull-through sharpener. No kidding. No kidding. But at that time, even I had a year where I was a vegan. Of course, it was for a girl. Even then, I knew that it was wrong to make a cat do that insanity. So check this out. I got a trainer, finally got a trainer for the Laredo Bowie. And I can practice it all with this. I mean, I pretty much practice with live blades all the time anyway, but that's probably a bad idea, especially early in the morning. But it's probably a bad idea. Also, this allows you to do some other things, like train with friends and stuff, or your daughter. Or your daughter, and without risking anything. But I got this because I've been watching this guy, Kalis Americano, who's going to be coming on the show, and he's got a couple of really cool trainers, and I just thought I should get a trainer. I haven't gotten a new one in a while. May as well be a model I already have. And when I was talking about the back cuts, and someone else mentioned back cuts, that's when you're coming in. Well, you can do it a number of different ways, but I have done this a lot in sparring, where you're just hitting with the back swedge against an incoming thrust. Someone's thrusting, bang, you suck in your belly, do a little footwork backwards and come down with a nasty gash in the arm. But also a cool way to back cut is like you're starting your angle 1, but instead of being here where you can see it, you're coming like that, and you can't see it. Boom. And you can get a back cut like on the clavicle area or the shoulder or the upper arm. Bang. And it's using the swedge. You don't have to have a sharpened swedge or a zero ground swedge like on the Laredo or the Natchez. Just a regular swedge with that tip. You're just going to do a tip thrust, because really it's kind of doing two things. It's gashing and pulling, but it's also pushing the tip in. So I think the back cut is cool. But also practicing like this. And this is how that if you square up, I'm sure this happens all the time when you square up in a knife fight. But if the guy's got a Bowie and he's holding it backwards, he knows what he's doing, because this is how a lot of American Bowie knife fighting has always been. You use that to break the bone if you're hitting with the spine, but B, using that swedge for a nasty gash cut. And then with a thrust, and then the old heave ho where you're disemboweling. And that was taught a lot. Sometimes they call that the Randall fighting method, but that's taken from early American Bowie knife fighting, and it's a horribly gruesome and final way to deal with an opponent if you thrust and then pull out that way. So got the trainer so I could practice all that kind of stuff. And that in particular is, I don't want to say unfamiliar. It's familiar to me, but it's not very practiced to me. And if that edge is facing me and I'm trying different things, probably good to have a trainer. So it was very inexpensive on Amazon, but it's the same size as the Laredo. So very, very happy to have that. Paul Mills says, I carried a Jason Grant. Oh, nice. I like his stuff. Little Hawkbill fixed blade and my Neutron 2. Jason Grant, also a tattoo artist, similar to Donnie Bless. It's very interesting to see who makes knives. A lot of people who are aerospace engineers make knives. A lot of people who are aircraft people make knives. A lot of people who are regular artists and tattoo artists make knives. It's cool. It's very compelling stuff, I guess. I have modded 8 Kaimanos so far. Really great knife, says Paul Might. Well, so what do you do to them? I'm curious. So you're a modder. That's cool. That's good to know. Have a Knife Day says, just posted the video tonight with it going live tomorrow morning. Awesome, man. Can't wait to check that out. This is also a Station 9. It was right in front of me, so I decided I'd pull it out. Josh034. Good to have you here, Josh. Spyderco, I got one. Spyderco, I got one. Adrian Fighter 35 says, I work in HVAC, lots of materials to cut and test out edge retention. Very nice. Also, lots of big cardboard boxes. Yeah. Oh man, I use my favorite cardboard box knives is the 6-inch Luzon. That thing is awesome, and it just keeps going and going and going through the material. And you can extend those cuts forever. Jacob Green says, the 2 parts of my EDC that I genuinely need are my Leatherman Wave and my Swiss Army Tinker. The combo is capable of every EDC chore except self-defense. And self-defense, you can, if pressed, you can use them for self-defense. Like I like the awl on the Swiss Army knives. If you have one with an awl, you can have that like a push dagger. And punch with it. You could even, not highly recommended, but you could kind of pick-all your way because you're going through against the lock. And there are other, the corkscrew. Ooh, corkscrew would be nasty. Of course, we're talking, the 100 pacer. Gotcha. Thank you. Of course, you have to be right up on someone, but again, to use a knife, you're right up on someone anyway. So you could make that work. I think easier than a Leatherman, personally. Todd Carr says, been carrying a multi-tool for over 40 years now. Feel naked without one. I feel like I remember when Leatherman just started, but well, yeah, I probably do. I was in my teens. Oh, I was in my teens 40 years ago, guys. I feign pain, but I'm totally happy at my age, and it's actually pretty cool to be in my 50s and to now, like, I just have a longer span of knowledge. I can remember news stories from the 90s and early 2000s, which is kind of cool. James Hart says, yeah, good idea. Next video I do for my channel, I will ask those who watch what their Grail knives are, plus show off my 2 new Cold Steel Tontos. Awesome. James, do I follow you? The days when you could carry a knife to school. Those are long gone. No kidding. Hang on a sec. Write this down. All right, back to the writing on the notebook. 5-door, good to have you here. 5-door, Bob. The Spyderco Subvert is the Natty Armor design, 4-inch blade, incredibly cool knife. I think we're talking about the same knife. The Subvert, yes. Is the Sprint? Does it have an orange handle? Pat these nuts. Nice to have you here, Pat. Hello, all. He says. Well, hello to you, man. Hope you're doing well. Nick Martino, K329. That's a new one for me. Yeah, I only ever see that on these Work Tough Gear knives. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying it's an exclusive steel, but that's the only place I know of it. Doug says, Bob, my birthday is at the end of the month. Family gave me the choice of a T-Kel. I want a larger handle, no ring, and the larger blade. Can't remember the model. The Mercenary, that is a cool one. I think I have a picture of one right here. I'm going analog today with my sketchbook. I happen to have a picture in my sketchbook. Is this it, Doug? The Mercenary? Very cool knife. I want one myself. And, you just got to wait. That's the only problem. And I'm not sure when he's doing a drop of that, but maybe you could convince OG Blade Reviews to sell you his. I don't think he will, but yeah, man, that's a cool one. It does not happen right away. That's the problem. But it's not a problem. That builds anticipation. So, but you're going to have to ask him or check on the website, because I think that might be one that you can order, but I'm not sure. Paul Mills says the Buck 119 was my first big boy knife. I love that knife. And it used to bother me how fat the handle is, but it doesn't anymore because it gets real fat. It's like the same width as the guard. And I always thought it needed to be more slender, but I don't feel that way anymore. Todd Carr says, Paul Mills, that one was given to me, though I bought my first knife at 9 years old. The Buck 110 clone saved up for it. LOL. Nice. Buck 110 clone. James Hart says, my first big boy knife was, and I still have it, the Green River Hunter. Didn't Cold Steel do a version of that knife? It's kind of a famous knife. Have a Knife Day has an early day tomorrow, so off I go. Have a knife night. Stay sharp. Have a knife night. Have a knife day. Have a knife night. It's always awesome. And thank you again for these. It was really thoughtful and more than thoughtful, really cool. These things are awesome. James Hart says, yes, the good old Buck 119. I still have one, the one I bought back in the mid 80s. Nice. Mr. Greg T, nice to have you, Mr. Greg. What's up, Bobby D? Not much. Just hanging out with my knife friends and talking knives. How you doing, man? Hope all is well with you. Nick Martino says, I need to get a couple of trainers. My friends will not let me practice until I do. Smart friends. Cold Steel makes some pretty good ones. I usually don't like rubber, but they're pretty stiff. I usually go for metal trainers. But back in the day, people didn't bitch and moan when you used a metal trainer. They just kind of accepted and were like, I'm glad this isn't a sharpened metal trainer. But I have found in the last, in the last 10 years or so, people do not want to train with metal trainers or wood. We used to use wood. The place I went in, place I used to train in New York, had wooden ones, and they eventually all splintered and they got replaced with metal, and then we all got our own. But yeah, get a trainer. You'll love it. It's also fun just to mess around with. Nick says, but everyone knows this is the place to go for learning about your favorite knife makers. Not too many people doing interviews like you do, Bob. Oh, thank you, Nick. I appreciate those kind words. It is a labor of love for sure. It's very interesting to me. I just like talking to people in general. But if you can talk to those people and have it be about knives, um, that's awesome. For instance, today my tow truck driver did not hardly spoke any English at all, and I really wanted to grill him about what it's like being a tow truck driver, but I couldn't. Um, so I need to learn Spanish so I can have more conversations with more people. I always know when my wife's family is talking about me, not that they do in any bad way, but I can kind of understand some Spanish, but not so good with the talking. Doug says, Bob, I prefer the edge up with my Muso for back cuts. It was also called Mountain Man Grip. That's what it is, Mountain Man Grip. That's something I learned from this guy, Calis Americano. I like that, Mountain Man Grip. So he prefers that for the back cuts because then you're using the whole back of the knife and getting that nasty cut. Speak of the devil, Bad Feather Knives. How you doing, sir? Okay, #knife. Hi, everybody. Just listening tonight. I don't know if you were listening, but we were showing off the Raider Creek that we're giving away next week to one lucky gentleman junkie. Again, gentleman junkies are the high tier of support on Patreon for us. So if you want to win this very cool full tang out the front fixed blade knife, yeah, you can become a gentleman junkie. Go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon, or oftentimes you'll see the QR code on the screen, but this is our exclusive giveaway for the month of January. This will be happening next week on the 22nd. But hats off to you, Dan. This is an awesome design. This one is mine, and I forgot to mention in my video of it, he sends a very strong magnetized hook. And so this lives on the side of my knife cabinet. The only problem is I like to lock up my knife cabinet. So this is a me problem because I'm convinced, I'm convinced I have to lock it up. It's like the house is locked. I probably don't have to lock that, but I do anyway. But this is on the outside, all vulnerable, but it can take it. And Dan, I don't know if you were listening before, but I am now not so squeamish about the beautiful finish on this. Plus, beautiful finishes tend to do pretty well due to how slick they are. Ron Crow says, at Knife Junkie, when you interview Sharif, make sure you call him Captain Clip Point. Okay. Oh my God, that clip point, that Manganis steel clip point is beautiful. I think it still hasn't been delivered, but the pre-order sold out. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It is in no way derivative of what's his name, but it reminds me. It's a kind of I'd put it on the same shelf. Ray Laconico. It has a Ray Laconico, not even a Ray Laconico vibe, but it has a simplicity. It's something about it is I would put them in the same category. Very, very beautiful. Yeah, looking forward to Sharif. He's just a cool guy from the videos I've seen. I've never met him in person, though. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I had a cold steel Laredo in my cart yesterday, along with a Rex 121 Sage 5. Rex 121. They're around the same price, but I can't get both right now. I think you just made the choice for me. I mean, I love the Laredo Bowie. I love that knife. That one, you rarely see that on this show because it lives in my upstairs closet. That's like a, grab the shotgun, grab the Bowie knife. And so that's where it lives. Ringo 62982. Let me read that better. Rigo, not Ringo. Rigo 62982. Is that an area code? Anyway, I EDC with the Beckwith covert, nicely done, and the double-edged clinch pick, double nicely done at the same time. That's pretty awesome, man. Double-edged clinch pick. Is that new? I think that might be new. Oh, 2.0. Yeah, that's new. So I just got a clinch pick recently from Dirk Pinkerton when he was he had to thin his herd, and so was selling some of his knives. He didn't design it, but some of the knives from his collection. and he gave me a nice hollow grind. He reground it for me, and so cool. I really like the clinch pick. That's another knife that better not have too much extra hanging over your belt when you draw it if you're seated. Oof. Pete Davidson says, heard a great argument for multi-tool self-defense once. It's easier to explain to a cop why Leatherman is sticking out of someone's skull rather than a 9-inch combat knife with a I'm going to call it a fuller, Pete. It's a fuller, sir. No, I know what you're saying. A, I think that's right, but B, yeah. Oh, well, actually, when you have a Leatherman open and then you pull the blade out and then you close it, or some of them lock. Yeah. Kevin Smith and knives. Good to have you here, Kevin Smith. I have a few Leathermen, but never carried a multi-tool. I'm like that too. I always have it in my bag or close at hand, but I don't like them in my pocket. I'm usually near my toolbox or tool belt is on. I build cabinets and renovated kitchens and bathrooms. That's cool. That's a cool job, cabinet builder. Yeah, same with me. They're like the handiest. Got one in the kitchen junk drawer. I got one in my dresser drawer. I have one dresser drawer devoted to knives. Got one in my backpack, and then I used to have one in my car, but that broke. It like fell apart. It was the Leatherman Sidekick, I think it was called. Kind of like a cheaper Leatherman, and I don't know how it just fell apart, but one of the sides of it fell apart. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I remember I was in second or third grade classroom when our weekly reader, I remember the weekly reader, Craig, I remember that. Now that you remind me of it, featured a story about a new hard-hitting M16 rifle used in Vietnam. No kidding. Wow. Man, that takes me back. The weekly reader. Yes, we had that. It was like a smallish kind of a magazine kind of thing. A newsprint. It was on newsprint. Ours were. Craig Vincent, we were so poor we had to train with bananas and sharpened carrots. Very nice. Oh, Craig, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Poor man's trainer, says Rigo. Just use an extra hard piece of cardboard and trace it to your knife, or use a cardboard replica for the pores. You know what I like is cheap, and you can get these at most. You can find these at most like secondhand stores. Is an old thin plastic cutting board. Those are great. Those I actually have made a number of trainers like that with the cutting board. B Shady 22. Nice to have you here, B Shady. Evening, Bob. D, he says. Evening to you, sir. And evening to you as we about roll into the station, as it's almost midnight and I have a very early day myself. Doug Bull says, Bob, if you have a lock on it, use it. If you get burglarized, first question you will be asked was your cabinet locked? Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's totally habitual for me too. Hopefully the first question I ask is, no, I shouldn't even say that. Josh 304 says, I'm so sad I'm broke right now. The Facebook ProTech people dropped the full size Don. Oh, nice Tiffany blue handle. Yeah, Josh, that is just it's like Murphy's Law. Like you're always not ready to buy when the thing that you want the most is like on offer, but only for a short time. I mean, that's just how. Yeah, that's just how it goes. It always seems like I'm out of money right before Blade Show. I don't know how that happens. James Hart, the needle nose pliers on a multi-tool could wreck someone. No kidding. If you use it to stab with. The only problem is the taper that leads to it. You know, you have to have some really grippy gloves on. Keon GR75, good to have you from Greece. Greetings all. Almost 7 a.m. here in Greece, starting Friday strong with coffee and my favorite show. Oh, man, thank you for those kind words. The UTX 85, and I'm imagining your Greek coffee right now, and I could use a cup. And Leatherman Skeletool in the pocket today. The UTX 85, very, very nice. That's it, guys. I got to go. I got to roll in. Mike Hauser, accidental connection. Howdy from Omaha. Good to have you, man. You're accidental or not. Join us next week on the 22nd, Thursday, the 22nd. We will be giving away the Bad Feather knives, Raider Creek EDC. Not this one. This one is mine, but Dan was so generous. He sent another one, and I'm very excited to get it in the hands of one lucky gentleman junkie. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had a blast, as always. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't take dull for an answer.